This is Field Founder Conference, and this is the module 4 about basics of founder equity and ownership ESOPs. So I'm hoping that you already covered the previous part of our course. It was about some of regarding with the co-founder, some was early equity, some was about ideation or initial phase of any of startup when you are going to select any of your startup idea. So I'm hoping that you already covered that part also. So this is the module 4 regarding the basics of founder equity, ownership, and ESOPs. These are the fancy terms that I'm using from very long time in the startup world. You guys need to know from the right from here. So this module 4 is full about uh, equity, ownership, and splitting and distribution. So let's start from here. Most founder things equity programs comes later. So it's a full equity program start from the day one. They just explore it later. So in agriculture startup, build quality equity decisions are even more worse because the one line we several times, the one line we several times talk about is that progress is slow, return tax time so as the patience. So just because of all of these things, the startup is already very tough in agriculture case. But in case of the equity in agri startup, conflict accumulates silently, so it becomes a major issue when company grows or evolves with the time. So why we guys have to wait for the time where we have conflict with any of member of our company. So we will ensure all the things from the day one. So it run very smoothly. There is no conflict in the future as well. So uh, we'll sort we'll sort out all the things from the initiation from the day one. So that these old things will not get emotionally attached to each other. Equity. Equity in a company simply means ownership. If you have equity, means you own a part of a company. Think of a company like a pizza, the whole pizza, the equals to entire company. Each slice equals to equity. If you own some slice, you own a percentage of company. I I wrote some lines here. Ownership is taken in company, known as equity. So let's understand these things through an example. Imagine you start a company. The company is divided into 100 shares. You keep 70 shares and your friend gets 30 shares. So ownership became 30 into 30 and 70%. You own 70%, your friend own 30%. If the company becomes about 1 crore later on, your shares becomes equal to 70 lakh rupees and your friend shares equals to 30 lakh rupees. So equity equals to percentage ownership in a company. We can take another example. Suppose that a startup founder meets an investor. The investor says, I will invest 10 lakh rupees for 10% equity. That's mean investor on 10% of the company, founder on 90%. So if the company later becomes worth 100 crore, the investor equity is worth 10 crore. Why equity is powerful? Equity can make people rich because if the company grow, the value of your ownership grow with the time. So early employees of the Google and Facebook receive the equity. When the companies become huge, many employees become the millionaires. So one line you can remember, equity equals to your ownership percentage in a company. I hope you are getting what is the real mean by equity. Second thing we have to discuss about is glitch. What is glitch? The minimum time you must stay in a startup before earning any equity. So let's understand this through an example. For example, you join a startup as an early employee. The founder says, if you stay in a company for 1 year, you will start receiving company ownership equity. Keep for 1 year means before 1 year, no equity. After completing 1 year, equity start being given to you. So, for example, you work for 6 months, zero equity if you leave on the 6 month. You work for the 11th month again, and you leave suddenly, so again the zero equity. You work for the 12th month, then equity start you being given to you. So, why company uses cliff? Companies use cliff so that people don't join to take equity and leave quickly. Only people who stay long enough to earn ownership. Many startup and companies like Google and Meta platform use Click for employees. So I'm hoping that you understand what is Click mean. Like, what about vesting period? Vesting period. Uh, Imagine that one scenario if you are uh, claiming to give someone an fair equity of your company. Let's say maybe it's a 50%. then we will not give that person this whole equity in short period of time. We will give this equity in the partition of the fixed duration of time. Like there is a 4 year that you choose as a vesting period. Like in first year, we'll give only 12.5%. Then next year, again be 12.5%. Then again in third year, 12.5%. Then again in your fourth year, 12.5%. So vesting period is the time required to fully earn your equity in a company. Because then not the case. Imagine that if you choose to give someone to 50% of your company equity, and after completing a 1 year clip, that full equity will go with that person, and he decided to not working anymore in your company, just due to the personal reasons, and he choose another workplace to work to do work. So in that case, in that case, 50% of the ownership will go with that person, that whole, and they just contribute 1 year of their life just in the our venture, and the 50% half of the company is with that person who is not working in the company anymore. So it would not be the fair with our startup or venture. So just because of that, will not give because of that will not give that whole equity just in short period of time. We'll divide in the partition with a fixed period of time. That period is called vesting period. If that person will leave company just after the 1 year claim, then only 12.5% equity will go with that person. Remaining 37.5% equity will again come in the company pool. So in that case, that equity will be reserved for the next person who will come further, to play that role. So a vesting period is very important for the company to protect our company equity for a longer period of time. So ESOPs, employee stock ownership plan, is the same like vesting period. These are the future stock. These are the shares like the usually stock that we buy or sell in stock market. These are the same share stock, but they will active in the future after completing a fixed duration of time. It is not active right now. It is a basic form of the stocks that we have, but spending a fixed duration of time in the company, they will become active. They will become the real stock or share. So these are just to affect the people in companies to join your venture. I hope you understand these rules, right? That's more to learn. What is the equity? In really mean, equity is not money, equity is not a reward. Equity is responsibility when we see in a broader level. Because the person whom you are hiring as a co-founder, whom you plan to give an equity, that's mean equity represents that risk taken, time committed, a value created over the years. So if someone wants equity without long-term contribution, so it will hurt the company for rest of the time or later on. So equity just is not fancy, to hold just because of that, for getting ownership. It is a responsibility. So see these things like this. I hope you understand this slide as well. The biggest equity myths in exist are that let's split everything 50-50 to avoid the conflict. So in reality, equal split does not mean fair split. An agriculture startup founder often contribute very different role in the company. One handle the field execution, one handle the sales, full sales of the company, and one does the other compiling those findings of fair about the contribution of the about equity. So every time 50-50 equity splitting is the not a fair equity splitting. We will decide who work full time in the company, what is the role, what is the contribution of that person in that task. Are they doing just in the part time in the company? Are they are working fully time? What is the skill set they have? There is importance in order of importance. We calculate all the things to giving a part of company ownership or equity to that person. according to their capabilities, according to their time, according to their vision to what the company bring in the future. So all the things will conclude when we will dilute our equity for the summers. I hope you understand this part. How to think about the fair equity split? Ask these questions for each founder who come up with the idea, who is working full time, who is investing money in the company, who carries the uh, field level risk, who has the long-term commitment in the company. So higher risk, higher time, higher equity. Simple. Do not negotiate emotionally, decide logically, because it is not just you know things that is according to relationship, like someone is my brother or someone is my friend, so we have to give a bit of more to that guy. So it is not like that. What kind of skill set, what kind of dedication, what kind of how much time we wanna spend full time or part time, everything will be decide on the capabilities of that person according to their time, according to their work performance and their long-term vision of commitment in the company. It is not an emotional decision. It is not an emotional decision to giving someone to equity as ownership in company. So I hope we completed the three part in the form. We completed the three slides in this part of the module 4 that we can consider as a first part of module 4. So I'll talk to you guys in the next part of the module 4. So I hope you enjoy that part and you learn a lot. Thank you so much to listen until the end. Thank you so much. Because